So I wanted to start out this video by saying that I felt compelled to tell my story. There's been a lot of videos about pro-pedo groups like Heart Love or Heart Progress and Omnipolitics and things of that nature, and I thought that might help if I told my story so that these individuals can tell and understand the effects that it does have on children, how terrible it is. So my story starts is that I was molested from the time I was 4 until 12. At 12 years old, it ended in a very brutal, violent rape. It was by a very close family member that probably should have been protecting me. Instead, he was hurting me. At the time, I didn't know any better. I didn't know that it was bad. I know it didn't feel right, but I was never given the good touch, bad touch by my parents because they just never saw that it was necessary to do so. So as the years progressed, I developed anorexia before I knew what anorexia was. I knew that I was making myself throw up milk and noodles and bread, and my mom kept taking me into the doctor, and the doctor just kept saying that I was failure to thrive because I was very small. By the time I turned 12 and the rape occurred, I remember everything that happened that night. I remember it like I'm going through it. I remember the pain. I remember the guilt. I remember the shame. I remember my comforter and all the stuffed animals that were on my bed. I remember the way that my bedroom smelled. I remember every single moment in that time. After that happened, I was able to suppress those memories, because that's what your mind does in a traumatic situation, is that they suppress them and act like it never even happened. So I was cured from my anorexia when I was 16, and I still have anorexia tendencies, but it's not to the extent of what it was. At the time of my rape, I was very, very tiny. I was about probably a 5 or 6 year old frame was how my body was built. The trauma that was physically placed on me is that I had to get a part of my vulva removed. That's how bad the rape was. Moving on, I had children, and after I had my children, my two youngest, I don't like saying this word because it's overly used, but basically I was triggered by my two children playing together, and my youngest happened to have been around the same age as I was when as I had started being molested. About 2 years ago is when I started having severe flashbacks to the trauma that had happened, which ultimately resulted in me becoming an alcoholic. Every time I drink, I will drink a fifth. I would chug it. There was no pour it in a cup. I'd drink it from the bottle until it was completely gone in one swoop. I ended up in the hospital a total of 10 times. 2 of those were active suicide attempts on my life. Nobody knew what was happening to me. I never told anybody at all until recently. Now I am in intense therapy, including EMDR, which is a trauma-based therapy that stimulates the memories and the feelings that you have behind those memories and helps it walk it out of your brain so it's not as traumatic. The truth about this entire thing is that children even if they're not told that it's wrong, they feel wrong. They feel ashamed. I don't like having sex, and when I do, it's few and far between when I do. My children were basically flukes because that's how little I have sex. I've had 3 sexual partners, which is really impressive considering that most people that are victims of molestation and rapes in young childhood years go on to being very promiscuous and involved in drugs and alcohol way before I did. These are just a few things that happened. My self-worth is next to nothing. I feel disgusting. I feel dirty. I feel ashamed. My innocence was taken before I was ready for it to be. I didn't say that it was okay. I didn't say that it was okay, and I didn't say that I wanted to. I didn't know I could say no. I feel slutty and embarrassed every single time I get undressed. This is not something that you can go on and it's okay, because it's not. There's a lot of trauma, especially to females, that just no child should go through this. I know that you guys say that it's not a mental illness, but if you guys aren't trying to do it for an underlying reason and that you truly feel this way, there's something wrong. There's something seriously wrong that you guys need to get checked out, because this is not okay at all. I was 4 years old and I didn't say no, I didn't say yes, but the trauma is still the same. It's still there. It doesn't go away as much as we would like it to. It comes back, and it comes back terribly. And then you guys say that, oh, it's not about the sex, it's about love. What's going to happen when that child is out of your age range? Imagine that mental issues that's going to be bestowed upon these children after you're done with them. This is not a sexual orientation. This is an illness that you guys need to seek help from. To Omnipolitics, I don't know what your deal is. I don't know if you want to be a part of something just to say that you're a part of something. I don't think that you fully believe what you say. Your voice gets super high-pitched when you talk about having sex with children or having an intimate relationship with a child. You don't sound like you're convinced. You just sound like you want to be a part of something. And for that, I think that you do have some serious problems that you need to get addressed. Just stop. This does not need to happen to our children. We need to protect our children, because who else is going to? They're our future. They're going to be the ones running this world, and how can any of them run this world when they have trauma all over the place? That's just debilitating. It is debilitating. I don't know what else to say, but thanks for listening.